We begin the 10 a.m. bulletin with breaking news coming in. Days after the high-profile Lamborghini crash in Kanpur, the prime accused, Shivam Mishra, who had been absconding, he was at large, he has now been arrested formally. This is the case that's triggered outrage over the alleged preferential treatment. There was no immediate arrest, no custodial interrogation, no confirmed medical examination in the first crucial hours. A luxury car was covered and guarded. Access to the residence, as we quite clearly saw, reportedly it was restricted. All of that had raised uncomfortable but unavoidable questions. Why was the law moving at two different speeds? Because the crash had left people injured. Eyewitnesses and police sources had maintained that Shivam Mishra was behind the wheel and allegedly he wasn't completely in a normal state. His family then, however, claimed that a hired driver was driving, even suggesting a medical episode of epilepsy and prior technical issues with the car. This is despite the fact that CCTV visuals told a different story, but now, 4 days on, Shivam Mishra has been arrested. That's the latest we're tracking on NDTV. This is the developing news story we're tracking after the high-profile Lamborghini crash case. In Kanpur, the prime accused, a tobacco tycoon's son, Shivam Mishra, has now been arrested. There are many glaring lapses that people are pointing out as far as this investigation is concerned, because if you remember, this incident took place on Sunday. The tobacco tycoon's son had allegedly received some medical treatment. He was moved to Delhi, and you'll be surprised at hearing this. Despite this accident, despite people being injured, Shivam Mishra was moved to Delhi after this incident without informing the police officials in Kanpur. There was no immediate arrest, no custodial interrogation. He was given preferential treatment, no confirmed medical examination in the first crucial hours, and now 4 days on, Shivam Mishra, the prime accused in this case, has been arrested. Akhil Jamil joining us with the latest details. Akhil, what's the latest you can disclose at the moment?
Well, Professor, as you see, as per the sources, what we have got to learn that Shivam Mishra, who was absconding for the last 3 days, have formally been arrested by the Kanpur police team. So this is a fresh development, and what we have seen. You see, there have been multiple twists emerging from the story since the story broke out. And initially, what we have seen that the Kanpur police team has given a version that he was the one who was driving the vehicle, and then later on, what we have seen that another driver, Mohan, has come out in open, and he has basically given an affidavit in the court in which he has said that he was the person who was behind the wheel. So on one part, this is what we have seen, and then if you see on the very next day, what we have seen that the lawyer of the Shivam Mishra has claimed that Shivam Mishra was not even present at that point in time. He basically went to the national capital for treatment. So right now, the latest information that we have got from the Kanpur police is that Shivam Mishra has been formally arrested by the Kanpur police, and today he will be produced in court at around 8 p.m.
Akhil, at this stage, do we know what specific charges has Shivam Mishra been arrested under?
Well, Professor, if you see, since the beginning, what we have been seeing that there have been multiple versions that have been coming out. Initially, if you see, there were several victims. When that Lamborghini, 10-crore Lamborghini basically hit several individuals over there, initially the complainant has basically changed his statement. Initially, he has given a different kind of a statement, and later on, he has changed his statement, saying that this was not his statement. So there were multiple versions that have come out. But so far as the investigation goes by the Kanpur police team, initially what we have seen that the FIR was registered in connection with the case against an unknown person. Later on, Shivam Mishra's name was added in this very case. And then after that, what we have seen that for the last 3 days, the Kanpur police team is trying to basically locate this individual, and finally they have got him. And today he was arrested, and in the next an hour or so, we can expect that he will be produced before the court.
Akhil, do stay on with us as I get in an update from Ranveer as well, who now joins us. Ranveer, what developments over the past 24 hours or beyond have led to the arrest finally after 4 days of delay, and also the first few hours of the accident? The official SOP wasn't even followed, and now 4 days on, Shivam Mishra is finally arrested? All right, we'll just reconnect with Ranveer. I sincerely apologize for that has been caused. Currently, after 4 days, Shivam Mishra is finally in police custody now. He has been arrested. That's the latest as far as this is coming in. Officials are currently investigating the matter. Investigators are also looking at the CCTV footage, the viral videos that categorically show Shivam Mishra being pulled out of the car. 4 days after this Lamborghini crash in Kanpur, the prime accused, Shivam Mishra, has now been arrested. This is the case that has triggered outrage over the alleged preferential treatment because, as I mentioned, there was no immediate arrest, there was no custodial interrogation, no confirmed medical examination in the first crucial hours after this car crash. Then Shivam Mishra was allegedly sent to Delhi without informing the police officials in Kanpur. Ranveer, I'm told, is back with us, tracking the latest as far as the probe action is concerned. Ranveer, break down for us the developments over the last few hours that have finally led to the arrest of Shivam Mishra after 4 days of delay.
Actually, yesterday's court's denial of accepting the surrender petition by the driver is the turning point in this case, and that's why Kanpur police is now has taken custody of Shivam Mishra, who is the prime accused in a Lamborghini case, on Sunday post-noon. Speedy Lamborghini hit out a bike. After that, it hit a auto, and then the car smashed into the divider. So after that case, Kanpur police was continuously grilled over allegations of why they had not confirmed medical examination of the accused Shivam Mishra, and also Kanpur police was in question for not mentioning name of Shivam Mishra as accused, though Kanpur police confirmed that on the basis of complaint by the victim, they filed the FIR, and later in the primary investigation, they found that Shivam Mishra was driving the car. So Kanpur police was claiming that Shivam Mishra was the man who was driving the car, but as per the lawyer of the Mishra family, Shivam was not driving the car. In fact, another man who was the driver of the car, he was driving the car, and yesterday they filed an FIR, a surrender petition in Kanpur court, and Kanpur court denied to accept that petition. And after that, Kanpur police ensured arresting of Shivam Mishra as accused in this case.
Ranveer, you're mentioning the driver. At this point, what is the status of this hired driver whose surrender plea was rejected by the court? Has the police formally clarified whether he's being treated as a suspect or a planted narrative at this stage?
Kanpur police will interrogate both Shivam Mishra as well as the claimant, the driver who is claiming to be driving the car at the time of accident. So both of them will be grilled. But now, as of now, Kanpur police has taken custody of Shivam Mishra, son of Mishra family, tobacco tycoon. So Shivam Mishra will be interrogated, and Kanpur police will ensure that on the basis of primary investigation, Shivam Mishra, the man who was driving the car on Sunday, is the prime accused. But now, after the interrogation, police will file charge sheet, and in the charge sheet it will be clarified that whether Shivam Mishra or his driver was driving the car. But as of now, as per Kanpur police, Shivam is the main accused who was driving the car, and he is in Kanpur police custody now.
So after 4 days of mounting outrage, legal scrutiny, uncomfortable questions we've been asking about special treatment, Shivam Mishra has finally been arrested. Just over the phone line with a quick reaction. Ma'am, day 4, Shivam Mishra has finally been arrested. There have been allegations of preferential treatment. There's been mounting outrage, legal scrutiny, many uncomfortable and unavoidable questions, even at this stage. What do you have to say about the fact that on day 4, Shivam Mishra is now finally arrested?
It was a matter of time. In fact, all this disappearance will go against him. I believe it will go against him, and the courts will. So, therefore, it would have been better if he had surrendered at that time. But the surrender at that time would have been very risky, though it will not be avoidable. The medical test would have actually helped him, or gone against him. It would have been, the medical test would have revealed whether he was under any influence of liquor, alcohol, or that he had an epileptic attack, which I only reading through the papers. So I think it will go against him. But if he thinks that it will not go against him and his expensive lawyers or worthy lawyers will be able to rescue him out. But it was a matter of time that arrest had to happen.
Ma'am, from a policing standpoint, I just want to understand, what should ideally happen in the first few hours of such a case? Should it be medical examination, seizure of the vehicle, statement recording, and considering what...
Can you hear me?
Kanpur police did not act as per SOP?
Yes, that's exactly it. The training is, when such an accident happens, that's what SOP is that you seize the vehicle and you take into account all those occupants. That means you have ready witnesses, whoever was at the CCTV. So CCTV, occupants, the driver, and the witnesses, that the more immediate the work is, more credible the investigation is.
And ma'am, you know, when a high-profile accused is not immediately arrested, in this case, this happened on Sunday, it's Thursday today, we finally have nabbed this man. What internal safeguards exist to ensure that there's no undue influence?
Well, obviously the delay in the arrest obviously has to be now explained. Who were the impediments in the arrest? But I was hearing the Kanpur police commissioner constantly saying it's a matter of time when we would arrest him. But the SHO, without even any senior intervention, ought to have done the two things. One, take into account the vehicle, take into account the people, and then send them to medical evidence if the person said he would had a medical emergency. So I think the SHO at that time, because of the influence, could have been, I'm not saying will, only investigation will reveal, but it could have been, and that's unfortunately the culture. It's a culture in law enforcement that show me the face and I show you the rules.
In your experience, does social and political pressure sometimes delay or accelerate police action in cases involving influential families? In this case, it's a tobacco tycoon's son.
It's both ways. It works both ways. Sometimes pressure for justice works immediately when the people come collectively to see justice. So it works. Political pressure works both ways, or influential pressure works both ways. Both in instant action, sometimes reckless. Sometimes that instant action becomes reckless, or it immediately provides justice. But it both works both ways. That's the tragedy of the situation. It works both ways. So their pressure has a positive angle and a negative angle. So it can be political, it can be muscle power, it can be money power, it can be position power. All these influences do play a role. But the safest for an SHO of the area is when an incident like this happens, any incident like this happens, and the evidence is right before your eyes, do not hold it back. Take into account and start your investigation. More authentic it would be.
Ma'am, would you also say that this case reflects a systemic issue in policing when the accused is powerful, or is it too early to draw that conclusion? Do remember that it's been 4 days. Shivam Mishra was allegedly shifted to Delhi without even informing the police officials in Kanpur, specifically after this accident happened and people were injured.
You remember something like this happened in Goa recently, a few months ago, when those two people disappeared. Those two people disappeared after an absolutely fire inferno in a bar. Remember? And they disappeared and they went to Thailand, and then they were arrested later, when they could have been booked, could have been traced right alongside. So now, why was the delay happened? Was it a pressure, or was it a smart escape by the two people who were the real owners? This is not this is not just yesterday. It's happening repeatedly, where the influential find their own ways, and sometimes they even legally advised. They're legally advised to disappear. But I think that advice does not pay off in the long run, because the disappearance works against them because they're going to be caught one way or the other, sooner or later. So the earlier you surrender, the better.
Right. Ms. Bedi, as always, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing your views with us. At the moment, joining us as well, former UP DGP Vikram Mishra on the broadcast. So thank you for your time. It's been 4 days, Shivam Mishra is finally arrested. In a road crash involving some serious injuries, sir, where eyewitnesses' CCTV footage reportedly suggests that the accused was driving, is it normal for police to wait 4 days to arrest?
On the line.
All right, Vikram Mishra, the former UP DGP, seems to have put our line on hold. While we reconnect with him, let me bring you up to date with the latest details as far as this case is concerned. At the moment, after 4 days of mounting outrage, legal scrutiny, and uncomfortable questions about special treatment, about preferential treatment, Shivam Mishra has finally been arrested. We are continuing to look at what exactly changed between day 1 and day 4 that it took police officials 4 days to arrest this man. We are also told that in the middle he went to Delhi without informing police officials in Kanpur, even though they were trying to get their hands on him. Ranveer now joins us with the latest details coming in and the specific charges that Shivam Mishra is being arrested under. Ranveer, break down the latest developments for us and also the status of the alleged hired driver after the court categorically dismissed the surrender plea.
Kanpur court raised question that how can a man comes in a court with a surrender application and says that I was driving the car when Kanpur police is submitting a report that Shivam Mishra was driving the car. So that was the biggest question, and on the basis of this question, Kanpur police rejected the surrender application of Mohan, who was claiming to driving the car on the day of accident. So now Shivam Mishra is in police custody, and he will be produced before court today, so that if police want to interrogate, then obviously he will be taken into police custody, and during this investigation, all those questions who were raised will be asked by Shivam Mishra, who fled to Delhi on claiming that he was getting treatment by his family doctor. So he was in Delhi, and now Kanpur police has taken custody of Shivam Mishra after the denial of accepting surrender application by Kanpur court. So now he is in custody, and the questions will be asked by Shivam Mishra that what happened on Sunday when that accident took place. So Shivam Mishra will be grilled, and after that grilling, after that interrogation, police will file the charge sheet. But it's a lengthy process, and if we talk about this arresting, this is obviously a very big arresting, and we at NDTV, we continuously shown what happened in this case. On first day after that accident, police lodged an FIR, but without mentioning name of Shivam Mishra as accused. So we raised question, and after that, police claimed that Shivam Mishra's name has been added on the basis of preliminary inquiry, and he became the prime accused in this case. But yesterday, the case entirely turned when Mohan, who was claiming that he was driving the car on Sunday, on the day when the accident occurred. So he appeared before court with a surrender application. He was claiming that he was the man who was driving the car, but Kanpur court rejected his application and said that proper action should be taken. So now police has taken custody of Shivam Mishra. He will be produced before court today, and after that, court will decide whether he will be sent to judicial custody or police custody, or he will be granted bail. So what court will decide, that will be the next action in this case.
Has the police explained the delay though? Are they admitting any sort of procedural lapse, or are they standing by the timeline?
On the very first day when Kanpur police lodged FIR, the name of Shivam Mishra was missing, and that was a major miss. And secondly, medical inquiry was not done by Kanpur police. So this is obviously going to be big, because the eyewitnesses, they were claiming that Shivam Mishra was under the influence of alcohol. But the question is, if he was drunk, then why not the medical examination done by Kanpur police? So this is the biggest question, and that's why uh, questions are on Kanpur police also, and questions are on Shivam Mishra also. And in between all these, Mohan, who is the man who claims to be the driver of the car on the day of accident. So turns and twists are coming, and let's see what police will do in this case, because if police will take custody of Shivam Mishra for interrogation, then after the interrogation, police will go ahead in this case. But if Shivam Mishra will be granted a bail or he will be sent to judicial custody, then obviously police will have to wait for some questions. So not only Shivam Mishra, but also Mohan will be grilled by Kanpur police so that a conclusion can be done in this case.
And considering the delay, Ranveer, are senior officers being questioned internally for how the first 48 hours were handled by the police force? All right, we seem to be struggling connecting with Ranveer again. While we line him up, let's get in a word from BJP's Anila Singh at the moment. Ms. Singh, thank you for your time. There were allegations of no immediate arrest. There were categorical allegations of no prompt medical tests that were conducted in the first 24 hours. Restricted access to the accused residence, with police officials looking embarrassed by just knocking on their main gate. Will you admit that this has created the perception of VIP treatment, and you think the police acted swiftly as they should have, considering there have been so many lapses in the first 48 hours of the investigation alone?
My Ramam to all. And do you think that the system, the process, the judicial system, or the laws, they are defined differently for the people who are who come under the category of haves and those who come under the category of have-nots? I don't think so. I know that law for everyone is equal in any part of this country. So if we talk about Uttar Pradesh, the state which is very well known under the lead of Yogi Adityanath about the law and order, there, if somebody says that a protection was being given to this person, Shivam Mishra, I think that is absolutely baseless. So today, if he is being arrested, so that must be the part of the interrogation. Like yesterday, when he was not arrested, or one of the complainant, he said that I am taking back what I against Shivam Mishra. So we are not to it.
Ms. Singh, doesn't this case embarrass the local administration and by extension the state government? It's taken 4 days to get hold of Shivam Mishra. In between, we are told he's gone to Delhi without informing the local police officials in Kanpur while he is under investigation, while his Lamborghini has crashed and hurt pedestrians. Would you admit that this case embarrasses the local administration and by extension the state government too?
Absolutely not. Any case is not being judged under the magnifying glass of
Do you say that?
There is a process which is to be followed, and police administration of the Kanpur is doing so. And they know very well who is the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. If I talk about the opposition, especially if I talk about the Samajwadi Party, who is doing... So let me tell Mr. Akhilesh Yadav. Mr. Akhilesh Yadav, you yourself is a very powerful, very rich, very... So tomorrow if you are going to do something wrong, do you think that any police administration, any government is going to protect you? Of course not. So we should allow.
Well, Ms. Singh, thank you for joining us with your views. Even though there has been a delay, this incident happened on Sunday. It's now Thursday. Shivam Mishra has finally been arrested. The BJP maintains that this is not an embarrassment for the local administration and it's not an embarrassment for the state government too. In fact, joining us at the moment, Kanpur BJP MP Ramesh Awasthi. Mr. Awasthi, thank you for your time. As you very clearly know, there have been allegations of no immediate arrest, no prompt medical test, restricted access to the accused's home after he's gone and hurt pedestrians with his Lamborghini. Do you acknowledge that this has created the perception of preferential treatment?
देखिए, मैंने पहले ही कहा था कि जो भी व्यक्ति, चाहे वो बड़ा आदमी हो या छोटा आदमी हो, अगर उसने गलती की है, अपराध किया है, तो वो बख्शा नहीं जाएगा। ये पहले दिन ही मैंने स्टेटमेंट दिया था। और हमने, अगर शिवम मिश्रा उसमें दोषी है तो उसकी गिरफ्तारी होगी, उस पर कार्रवाई की जाएगी। और जहां तक समाजवादी पार्टी का एलिगेशन लगाने का आरोप है, मैंने ये बताया था कि समाजवादी पार्टी सिर्फ राजनीति कर रही है। ऐसे चीजों में उसको राजनीति नहीं करनी चाहिए। चुनाव आ रहे हैं, चुनाव में उनको एक राजनीतिक मुद्दा ही दिखता है। अगर पुलिस का कोई उद्देश्य होता, गलत होता, जबकि शिवम मिश्रा के पिताजी केके मिश्रा जी साफ कह रहे थे कि ये ड्राइवर तक हमारी गाड़ी चला रहा था, हमारा पुत्र गाड़ी नहीं चला रहा था। पुलिस का अगर इंटेंशन होता उसको बचाने का, तो उसके ड्राइवर के खिलाफ एफआईआर की जाती, ना कि शिवम मिश्रा के खिलाफ। पुलिस ने पाया कि शिवम मिश्रा गाड़ी चला रहा था। अज्ञात रिपोर्ट जो हुई थी, उसके बाद शिवम मिश्रा का नाम उसमें एफआईआर में दर्ज किया गया। और उसके बाद मैंने, जब पत्रकार साथियों ने मुझसे पूछा था लोकसभा में, तो मैंने कहा था ये सिर्फ समाजवादी पार्टी के आरोप है कि पुलिस उसको बचा रही। हम उसमें पूरी कानूनी कार्रवाई कर रहे हैं और आपको बहुत जल्दी दिखेगा कि इसमें शिवम मिश्रा की गिरफ्तारी हो गई। शिवम मिश्रा के साथ जो भी कानूनी कार्रवाई की जा सकती है वो पुलिस कर रही। हम लोग जीरो टॉलरेंस पे काम कर रहे हैं। कोई भी अपराधी बख्शा नहीं जाएगा। उत्तर प्रदेश में कानून का राज है और कानून का राज ही रहेगा। बस हम लोग कानूनी प्रक्रिया के तहत कार्रवाई कर रहे थे। उसी कानूनी प्रक्रिया के तहत शिवम मिश्रा को गिरफ्तार कर कोर्ट में पेश कर दिया गया है और जो भी उनको दंड हो सकता है वो दंड दिया जाएगा।
All right, I've understood what you're saying, but can you assure the viewers that there will be no political shielding, that this case will be pursued purely on evidence, regardless of the accused's background, regardless of the fact that his father is a tobacco tycoon? And will you also demand strict accountability, not just from Shivam Mishra, sir, but also from any police officer found to have delayed action in this case?
नहीं, देखिए, निश्चित रूप से एक कानूनी प्रक्रिया होती है। जब वो घटना हुई थी तो घटना पे नहीं बताया जा सकता था कि गाड़ी कौन चला रहा था और कौन इसमें, तो तात्कालिक रूप से पुलिस ने अज्ञात एफआईआर किया था। पुलिस को उस समय नहीं पता था कि ये किसी बड़े आदमी का लड़का है या बड़े आदमी की किसी गाड़ी है या छोटे आदमी की है, इसको कौन चला रहा था, इसलिए उसको अज्ञात में एफआईआर किया गया। उसके बाद पुलिस ने तुरंत कार्रवाई किया। उसमें जांच पड़ताल में पाया कि नहीं, ये शिवम मिश्रा गाड़ी चला रहा था, जबकि शिवम मिश्रा के फादर और उनके समर्थक कह रहे थे, बार बार पुलिस पे आरोप लगा रहे थे कि नहीं, गाड़ी ड्राइवर चला रहा था। पुलिस ने अपनी जांच में पाया कि शिवम मिश्रा गाड़ी चला रहा था, इसलिए शिवम मिश्रा के खिलाफ तुरंत एफआईआर किया गया। अगर कोई भी पुलिस का गलत इंटेंशन होता है या बचाव उसको किया गया होता है, किसी उद्योगपति का बचाव किया गया होता है या कोई पॉलिटिकल प्रेशर होता, तो हम शिवम मिश्रा के खिलाफ एफआईआर क्यों कराते हैं? मैंने तुरंत पुलिस कमिश्नर से कहा, पुलिस कमिश्नर ने कहा कि अगर इसमें कोई भी कार्रवाई, हर हालत में निष्पक्ष कार्रवाई की जाएगी, और निष्पक्ष कार्रवाई हुई और उसके बाद शिवम मिश्रा के खिलाफ एफआईआर होगा। कोई पॉलिटिकल प्रेशर नहीं हमारे ऊपर था, ना हम लोग कोई पॉलिटिकल प्रेशर मानते हैं, और ना कोई भी इस तरीके का दबाव था कि वो उद्योगपति का लड़का है इसलिए हम उसको बचाएंगे। ना पुलिस उद्योगपति के कारण उस लड़के को बचा रही थी, उसके खिलाफ पूरी कानूनी कार्रवाई की रही थी और उस कानूनी प्रक्रिया के तहत उस पर कानूनी कार्रवाई करके उसको गिरफ्तार करके कोर्ट में पेश किया गया। इसमें सिर्फ समाजवादी पार्टी सिर्फ मुद्दा राजनीति कर रही थी। पहले समाजवादी पार्टी के लोगों ने कहा, कई लोगों ने कहा कि नहीं, उस घटना में कुछ लोग मारे गए, जबकि ऐसा असत्य था। कहीं कोई एक व्यक्ति इंजर्ड हुआ है और वो लड़का शिवम मिश्रा भी स्वयं इंजर्ड हुआ था, वो भी, उसको भी हॉस्पिटल में भर्ती कराया गया था। तो कोई भी इस तरीके की घटना नहीं इतनी गंभीर थी कि जिसमें कोई मरा हो। सिर्फ एक इंजरी थी, 2 लोग घायल हुए थे और जो घायल दूसरा भी अस्पताल हुआ। जबकि फैक्ट ये है कि जिसके ऊपर गाड़ी चढ़ी थी उसका भी समझौता हो चुका था, लेकिन उसके बाद भी पुलिस ने कुछ नहीं। पुलिस ने कहा कि अगर आपने अपराध किया है तो आपको दंडित होना पड़ेगा, और पुलिस ने अपनी कार्रवाई की और कार्रवाई करने के बाद ये एक्शन हुआ। न हम लोग किसी दबाव में थे, न पुलिस दबाव में थी। टोटल
Mr. Awasthi, it was the same police that was investigating Shivam Mishra. Since Sunday, we were told by the same sources within the police establishment that Shivam Mishra has gone to Delhi without informing the Kanpur police. How has that happened? How is it that in the FIR first initially Shivam Mishra is not even named? That is questions that are unavoidable as far as the tobacco tycoon link is concerned and preferential treatment is concerned. But I just want to ask you before we wrap, don't you think this case embarrasses the local administration, the police especially, and by extension, the state government?
नो, देखिए आप इसमें सिर्फ स्पष्ट है, अगर आप कानूनी चीजें देखेंगे, चाहे 3 साल की जो सजा होती है, 7 साल से नीचे की सजा में पुलिस गिरफ्तारी नहीं कर सकती। और लेकिन अगर असहयोग करता है कोई व्यक्ति तो उसको गिरफ्तार करेगी। वहां उसके बाद अगर पुलिस उसके घर पे गई, वहां पे उनका दरवाजा नहीं खुला, पुलिस ने जांच पड़ताल की और पता किया कहाँ पे शिवम मिश्रा है, और उसके बाद शिवम मिश्रा के पीछे पुलिस थी, शिवम मिश्रा ने उसमें जांच में अगर असहयोग किया है तो शिवम मिश्रा की उसमें गिरफ्तारी हुई। और जहां तक आप लेट की बात कर रहे हैं, लेट में भी पुलिस ने अगर वहां एसएचओ ने भी अगर कोई लापरवाही की है तो उसके खिलाफ भी हमने कार्रवाई किया है कि तुरंत उसने इतनी शिवम मिश्रा के खिलाफ एफआईआर क्यों नहीं किया। तो ऐसा नहीं है, पुलिस ने जहां जहां जो करना था उसको पुलिस के चाहे वरिष्ठ अधिकारियों ने हो चाहे हमारे शासन ने हो तुरंत एक्शन लिया है और उसके खिलाफ कड़ी से कड़ी कार्रवाई की है। बस इतना जरूर है कि चूंकि वो बड़े परिवार का लड़का था और उसकी लंबोर्गिनी गाड़ी थी, इसलिए इस मामले को और हाई प्रोफाइल कर दिया गया, जबकि पुलिस ने कानूनी कार्रवाई के तहत अपना पूरा काम किया है। न किसी को बचाया गया है, न राजनीतिक दबाव में, और न कोई बड़े खानदान के लड़के की वजह से। ये सिर्फ एक राजनीतिक मुद्दा बनाया गया है और कुछ नहीं है। इस पे पूरी कार्रवाई हुई है, निष्पक्षता के साथ कार्रवाई हुई है। मैंने पहले भी कहा कि मैंने इस समय लोकसभा के बाहर जब हमारे पत्रकार साथियों ने मुझसे पूछा था, उन्होंने कहा था कि ये बचाया जा रहा है, तो मैंने कहा इंतजार करिए, पुलिस अपनी कार्रवाई कर रही है। शिवम मिश्रा गिरफ्तार भी होंगे, शिवम मिश्रा के खिलाफ कड़ी से कड़ी कार्रवाई की जाएगी, क्योंकि शिवम मिश्रा का नाम उसमें प्रकाश में आया था कि वो गाड़ी चला रहे। हालांकि शिवम मिश्रा के परिवार का आज भी ये है कि वो शिवम मिश्रा बीमार है और 2009 से मेडिकली अनफिट चल रहे हैं, उनकी हिस्ट्री है, वो भी उन्होंने पुलिस को दिखाई। लेकिन इसके बाद भी पुलिस ने कहा कि आप ये सभी सबूत जो है कोर्ट में पेश करिए, फिलहाल ये दोषी है, इसके खिलाफ कार्रवाई की जाएगी, और उनकी गिरफ्तारी हुई और उनको आज कोर्ट में पेश कर दिया गया।
Ramesh Avasthi, thank you so much for joining us on behalf of the BJP. We'll continue to ask you all the questions that this investigation demands. This case, though, has moved from public anger to legal action now. The real test now is whether this investigation matches the seriousness of the allegations. That crash had left some people injured. Eyewitnesses and police sources had maintained that Shivam Mishra was behind the wheel. After that, we heard contradictory statements coming in from the tobacco tycoon himself regarding his son. We had contradictory statements coming in from the person who filed the complaint. His family has claimed additionally that a hired driver was driving, even suggesting a medical episode of epilepsy and prior technical issues with the car. We'll continue to track the latest for you. Listen in to a reaction coming in from a top police official at the moment.
कहाँ से गिरफ्तार किया गया?
देखिए, आज सूचना प्राप्त हुई थी कि वो कानपुर आया हुआ है। उस सूचना के आधार पर हमारी टीमें सक्रिय हुई, उसको गिरफ्तार कर लिया गया और गिरफ्तार करके माननीय न्यायालय में प्रस्तुत किया गया है। बाकी आगे की कार्यवाही माननीय न्यायालय के निर्देश के क्रम में की जाएगी।
कितनी टीमें से लगाई गई?
5 टीमें गठित की गई थी, वो टीमें लगातार लगी हुई थी और समग्र प्रयास करके आज गिरफ्तार किया गया।
उसने कुछ बताया कि गाड़ी कौन चला रहा था, कैसे क्या है?
देखिए, पुलिस की विवेचना में पूरी तरह से साफ हो गया है कि एक्सीडेंट के वक्त गाड़ी शिवम मिश्रा ही चला रहा था। इसके लिए तकनीकी और चक्षुदर्शी साक्ष्यों के साक्ष्य अंकित किए जा चुके हैं। पर्याप्त साक्ष्य है, माननीय न्यायालय के समक्ष प्रस्तुत किया जाएगा। आगे का विषय माननीय न्यायालय।
आगे क्या कुछ कार्रवाई करेंगे इसमें?
जैसा मैंने बताया कि माननीय न्यायालय में प्रस्तुत किया गया है, माननीय न्यायालय के निर्देश के क्रम में अग्रिम कार्रवाई।
Akil Jamil is also tracking the latest developments for us. Akil is live currently. Akil, break down for us what changed between day 1 and day 4. Was it the fresh evidence, or did the mounting public outrage force the police to finally act and arrest Shivam Mishra?
Well, Parmeshwar, if you see, one thing is very clear since the beginning, that several people in this case was trying to give a long rope to Shivam Mishra. Why so? Because if you see, initially what has happened, that when the lawyer was giving a bite to the media, in which he has said that there was a driver, Mohan, who was driving the vehicle at that point in time. In contradiction, if you just go by the visuals, because we have got the visuals, we have got the CCTV, and in that CCTV it was very clear that bouncers, there were 3 to 4 bouncers who pulled out Shivam Mishra from the very driving seat. And if you go by the version given by the Kanpur Police Commissioner, in which he has categorically said that Shivam Mishra was the one who was driving the vehicle, he was the one who was behind the wheels. So there is no question, there is no contradiction that Shivam Mishra was not present at that point in time. But what we have seen, that Shivam Mishra's lawyer kept on lying in the court itself. The affidavit which has given, apart from that, the bite, the media bite he has given, in which he has said that Mohan was the one who was was basically behind the wheels. He was the one who was driving the car. So there's a first lie which has basically busted. Second lie, what we have been seeing, that since beginning, when the complaint was filed, initially at that point in time, what we were told that that the complainant basically has changed his statement. Initially, he has given a different statement, and later on, he has changed his statement. So there were multiple versions that have been coming out so far. Right now, what has happened, that the Kanpur police team has basically arrested Shivam Mishra from Kanpur itself, and they have said that he has arrived this very morning in Kanpur, and after that they have arrested him. So if you see, there has been certainly a delay of approximately 4 days, because the incident took place on Sunday afternoon, and since then Monday passed, Tuesday passed, Wednesday passed. On Thursday morning, what we are seeing, that Shivam Mishra has been arrested. So right now there is one more question ahead of the Kanpur police, and that question is pretty simple, that whether at that point in time when that accident took place, whether tobacco baron KK Mishra's son Shivam Mishra was drunk or not. That is yet to be examined, because he has been given a long rope, and this has to be confirmed. So initially, if you see, there are several tests to basically confirm that whether he was drunk or not. So initially, you can conduct a breathalyzer test or a blood test or urine test. So generally, when you do a breathalyzer test, within 6 to 12 hours, it can be confirmed. But as you see, right now he has been arrested after 4 days. So it's very particular that in the blood stream, the alcohol content cannot be found. So it's very likely that the urine test can also be done by the Kanpur police team to basically affix and ascertain that whether at that point in time when Shivam Mishra was driving the vehicle, whether he was arrested or not. So this is yet to be examined. Apart from that, the Kanpur police team is also going to interrogate and corroborate the statement given by his driver, Shivam Mishra's driver Mohan, as well as Shivam Mishra. So it's very likely that both of them statements were going to be recorded by the Kanpur police team in connection with the case.
Akhil, as always, thanks so much for breaking down the developments. Do stay on with us as I get in a quick update from Ajay as well, who joins us from Ground Zero. Ajay, you've been looking at how the administration has closely been reacting, even though many say it has not been swift, it has not been as per SOP. What is the status of the alleged inebriation claim that Akhil is highlighting? Has a medical examination finally been conducted now that Shivam Mishra is arrested? And if not, why not? Considering there's been a delay for 4 days already.
There's a technical explanation for this medical thing, because it was required to done this medical in a 24 hours time limit, but it was not done. It's a fourth day of the incident, and police arrested Shivam. Today only it was impact of NDTV. We were asking this question to the police after the incident, when they fired a FIR, and in that FIR they mentioned the vehicle number but not Shivam Mishra's name. That was very surprising. And when we started questioning the commissioner and the other police people who were following this story, who were following this case, we got to know that Shivam was driving this car. We have eyewitnesses, we have other bites also, where they're telling that Shivam was driving this car, and later on his name was mentioned in the FIR. And yesterday we saw something very interesting in Kanpur's court. When Mohan reached to the court, a driver, he said he was driving the car. He submitted his affidavit, and the one who filed the FIR, he also accepted that he saw Mohan driving the car. So it was very surprising visuals we saw in Kanpur's court yesterday. But Kanpur court denied his surrender and said that he's not being looked by Kanpur police. So the court will not accept his surrender. And today, as we can see, Shivam Mishra is arrested. It is impact of NDTV. We were asking this question to the police, and while this process is being on, he is being presented into the court. The Kanpur police is right now taking him towards the court of Kanpur, and in a while the decision will be taken. Will he get a bail, or will he get just a court? This will be the answer we are waiting for. And the important most part is, right now Kanpur police is collecting more data. The lawyer and the family, they were telling that he was not driving the car, but police is telling that they are having evidences, eyewitnesses, and other details which are proving that Shivam was driving the car, and today he's arrested.
Ajay, just break down for us as well. How was Shivam Mishra arrested? Was it from his residence, Delhi, after surrender, or was he traced and picked up? The manner of the arrest in this case also matters, considering there has been a significant delay.
As we can see in visuals also, he's coming out of some hospital. Police got to inform that he's in some hospital in Kanpur. Later on, police reached there and they got him. Important most part is today that they will show present him in front of the court, and the decision will be taken. Will he get a bail or whatever will happen? Will update that thing also. But the important most part is this is a big time failure of Kanpur police. They have not followed this case strictly because it's the fourth day when they found Shivam Mishra, and now the police is showing him in front of the court.
All right. Do stay on with us, Ajay. Akhil is also here. Akhil, take us through the status of what is happening at the moment as far as this probe is concerned. And has the police explained the delay in this investigation? Are they admitting to any sort of procedural lapse? Or at the moment they're standing by the timeline?
Well, the lapses could be explained at a later on stage, but one thing is very clear, that there was certainly a delay, because if you get the version from the Kanpur police team right now, which we have got after the arresting of Shivam Mishra, in that they have said that he has arrived. Shivam Mishra has arrived from the national capital to Kanpur, and then we have arrested him. So what we have seen, that initially there were 5 different teams which were formed by the Kanpur police team, and it basically took approximately 4 days basically to nab this very accused. And since beginning, what we have been seeing, that if you just get the versions by the tobacco baron's family, in which what we have seen, KK Mishra, he has also given a different statement. If you go by the version of Shivam Mishra's lawyer, he has given a different version in the court as well as to the media. So they have been constantly lying. And if you see, there was a driver as well, Mohan, who has given a different version. So why he needed to lie? Was there any pressure from the Mishra family? Was there any pressure from the KK Mishra, the tobacco baron, to the driver of Mohan to lie in front of the media, in front of the public, basically to mislead the investigation? And if you see, one thing is for sure, that in this very case, the Kanpur police has basically made a very vigilant effort, and they have maintained this single position that Shivam Mishra was the one who was driving the vehicle, because there were multiple versions coming from the side of the KK Mishra family, the Shivam Mishra, in this case Shivam Mishra family as well, and they have been constantly denying that Shivam Mishra was not the one who was present behind the wheels, who was the one who was basically driving the car. So right now this has been confirmed again, and if you see during the interrogation, things will come out that how basically there were certainly several lapses which were basically tried to be taken aside by the family, tobacco baron family. So it is yet to be investigated. But if you see, even after 4 days of delay, what we have seen that the Kanpur police team has finally arrested this very individual who has been trying to basically mislead the law, mislead the Kanpur police, and basically given a different versions at different point in time, with the help of their lawyer, with the help of their driver, and with the help of their team at the residence. Because when we have seen the Kanpur police team arriving at the residence of KK Mishra, at that point in time they were told that bhaiya nahi abhi yahan pe. So such kind of statements were given, and then after that what we have seen that Kanpur police team returned from the very residence of KK Mishra. So after 4 days, Kanpur police team successfully arrested this very individual, and it's very likely that Kanpur police team is going to take him for the medical examination, in which it is going to be ascertained that whether at that point in time when that incident took place in the afternoon of Sunday, whether he was drunk or not. And there are several procedures to basically conduct such kind of alcoholic tests, which include breathalyzer test or blood test or urine test. So it's very likely that these 2 tests is going to be conducted, because it's a delay of approximately 4 days. So it's very likely that the content of alcohol must not be present. So during these 2 tests, these things will come out there, that whether he was drunk at that point in time when that incident has taken place on Sunday afternoon.
Akhil, meanwhile, is the Uttar Pradesh government facing pressure at the national level over the perception of preferential treatment given in this case? And do we know whether the Chief Minister's office has sought any sort of formal explanation on why this arrest has taken 4 days?
Hello.
ran a sustained campaign on this, and we have been basically covering this story for the last 4 days consistently. And if you see, initially what we have been seeing, that when that incident took place, at that point in time, everybody knew that Shivam Mishra was present in that vehicle. When that video has gone viral on the social media platform, and when the CCTV footage from that location has come out, in that it was very clear that there were several individuals, there were several bouncers who have basically pulled out Shivam Mishra from that 10 crore Lamborghini car, and then he fled from the very spot. So if he was not the culprit, if he was not the person who was driving the vehicle at that point in time, then why he needed to flee from the spot? If Mohan was the driver who was driving the vehicle at that point in time, then Shivam Mishra not need to fled from the spot. So what was the reason behind it? That is yet to be ascertained. So if you see, these things will come out, and it's very likely that Kanpur police team is going to have a very sustained interrogation of Shivam Mishra. And apart from that, the Kanpur police team is also going to confront Shivam Mishra and made him sit in front of his driver Mohan, because and after that the Kanpur police team is going to corroborate the statements given by Mohan in media, as well as to the court, in which what we have said that he was the person who was driving that car at that particular moment. So why he basically tried to mislead the court, and why he basically tried to mislead the very investigation. So these things are basically going to come out at a later stage, that who was the person who was basically driving the vehicle.
Right, Akhil, do stay on with us. Ranveer is also now currently here with an update. Ranveer, tell us, how is the BJP leadership responding to the optics of a delay in this probe? We actually spoke to Anila Singh of the BJP and Ramesh Avasthi, who's the Kanpur BJP MP. Both of them have categorically refused to admit to any sort of procedural lapses, whether it's the administration or police officials. How is the BJP reacting to what's going on, the optics of the delay behind the scenes?
We are continuously asking questions about Lamborghini accident case, and BJP leaders are saying that law will take its own course and Kanpur police is doing what is mandatory. So BJP's claim is nothing is going wrong, and Kanpur police is investigating the case, and after the investigation, they'll do what will happen. I had asked this question to some ministers also, and they said that Shivam Mishra will definitely be arrested. And today, Kanpur police arrested him. And he is in Kanpur court, ACGM court 7, after the medical examination. So when the court will start, police will probably ask about police custody, and if police custody will be granted, Shivam Mishra will be interrogated by Kanpur police, and the questions will obviously be on the basis of lawyers' claim that Mohan was driving the car, and Kanpur police investigation says that Shivam was driving the car on the day of accident. So this is the basic question which Kanpur police will ask, and on the basis of footages, on the basis of statements of the eyewitnesses, Kanpur police says that Shivam Mishra was the man who was driving the car on Sunday. So several questions will be asked by Shivam Mishra, who is in police custody now, and he is in court for custody remand. So police custody may be taken, and after that police custody, Kanpur police will interrogate Shivam Mishra, and definitely Mohan, who is the claimant, who says that he is the driver and he was driving the car on Sunday on the day of accident. So Mohan as well as Shivam, both will be interrogated, and statements of the eyewitnesses will also be recorded so that police can get some conclusion in this case. So after that, the investigation process, the charge sheet will define that who was the man who was driving the car on Sunday, and on the basis of police report, the law will take its own course. But obviously, politics was going on in this case because the opposition was targeting Bharatiya Janata Party as well as UP police, saying that due to the influence of the tobacco cocoon, police is not taking any prompt and proper action in this case. But now Kanpur police has taken custody of Shivam Mishra. He is in court. After a few moments, court will decide whether he will be sent to police custody or judicial custody, or he will be granted bail. But as the case is in discussion, as the case is in social media as well as media, court may grant police custody for the investigation of Kanpur police. So a high-profile case, and obviously the case took a twist and turn when the lawyer claimed that Shivam Mishra was not driving the car. He was sitting at the adjacent seat of the driver, and the driver Mohan was driving the car, and Shivam felt some uncomfort, and that's why driver tried to ask him what happened, and during this the car stuck into a bike and an auto. So these are the claims, but despite all these claims and police investigation, Shivam Mishra is now in police custody, and court will grant probably police custody or judicial custody, and on the basis of this custody, the further action will be taken. So a very high-profile case, Lamborghini accident case, and the main accused, Shivam Mishra, is in custody, and probably after the court's decision of police custody or judicial custody, the further action will be taken by Kanpur police.
Ranveer, I just want to focus a little on the inebriation claim. As we are given to understand, the police did not conduct a medical examination when they're meant to, immediately in the few hours of when this incident happened. The fact that it did not happen earlier, how are police officials planning to establish any sort of intoxication now?
Kanpur police was questioned by media or by social media that why Shivam Mishra was not taken into custody immediately after the accident, why the medical examination was not done. These are the questions which were asked by media and social media to Kanpur police, and Kanpur police said that he was taken to hospital, immediate hospital for treatment, but the injuries were so minor that the medical examination can be done after the incidents also. But despite all that, Kanpur police has not taken the legal action of doing the medical examination of the accused Shivam Mishra. And obviously, this is the fourth day. The accident occurred on Sunday, and today is Thursday. So obviously, if he was under the influence of alcohol, then obviously it will not be proved by today's medical examination. But for further investigation, police will record the statement of the eyewitnesses, as well as Shivam Mishra will also be interrogated. So circumstantial evidences as well as eyewitnesses' statements and Shivam Mishra's interrogation. These will be the points which will ensure police to make a proper charge sheet in this case. So obviously, Kanpur police was questioned just because of not mentioning Shivam Mishra as accused in the FIR initially. His name was added after the preliminary inquiry, and obviously medical examination was not done, and this is the biggest lapse in this case.
Ranveer, do stay on with us as we unpack the crucial details coming in. These are the latest visuals coming in as Shivam Mishra has been arrested. These are the first visuals we have accessed after the tobacco tycoon's son is now arrested. It's taken 4 days for us to be here. It's taken multiple times for the FIR to be tweaked as well. It was amended since the initial filing, because the initial filing didn't even name this gentleman you're seeing on your screens at the moment. The inebriation claim is in focus because as soon as this accident happened, protocols were not followed to the T via police officials in Kanpur. You see, no medical examination was conducted. We were told he's moved to Delhi without informing police officials in Kanpur. Now it is hard to establish intoxication considering it's been 4 days and he has just been arrested. Currently, he is going to be interrogated, and this is 4 days after mounting outrage, legal scrutiny, uncomfortable questions about preferential treatment. Shivam Mishra has now been arrested. For 4 days, you see, there was no arrest. For 4 days, there was no clarity on custodial interrogation. For 4 days, competing versions were floated about who was driving that Lamborghini. The court itself questioned how a random driver suddenly has entered the narrative and how the driver could suddenly appear when he was not even named in the initial FIR. These are the latest visuals coming in of Shivam Mishra as he has finally been arrested. It is a response to the pressure, the public pressure, the judicial pressure, and the politics of it, it seems. Just a few moments ago, we had spoken to Kanpur BJP MP Ramesh Avasthi. Here's what he said about the delay and the lapses as far as the arrest of this tobacco tycoon's son is concerned.
अगर पुलिस का कोई उद्देश्य होता, गलत होता, जबकि शिवम मिश्रा के पिताजी केके मिश्रा जी साफ कह रहे थे कि ये ड्राइवर तक हमारी गाड़ी चला रहा था, हमारा पुत्र गाड़ी नहीं चला रहा था। पुलिस का अगर इंटेंशन होता उसको बचाने का तो उसके ड्राइवर के खिलाफ एफआईआर की जाती, ना कि शिवम मिश्रा के खिलाफ। पुलिस ने पाया कि शिवम मिश्रा गाड़ी चला रहा था, अज्ञात रिपोर्ट जो हुई थी उसके बाद शिवम मिश्रा का नाम उसमें एफआईआर में दर्ज किया गया। और उसके बाद मैंने जब पत्रकार साथियों ने मुझसे पूछा था लोकसभा में, तो मैंने कहा था ये सिर्फ समाजवादी पार्टी के आरोप है कि पुलिस उसको बचा रही, हम उसमें पूरी कानूनी कार्रवाई कर रहे हैं और आपको बहुत जल्दी दिखेगा कि इसमें शिवम मिश्रा की गिरफ्तारी हो गई। शिवम मिश्रा के साथ जो भी कानूनी कार्रवाई की जा सकती है वो पुलिस कर रही। हम लोग जीरो टॉलरेंस पे काम कर रहे हैं, कोई भी अपराधी बख्शा नहीं जाएगा। उत्तर प्रदेश में कानून का राज है और कानून का राज ही रहेगा। बस हम लोग कानूनी प्रक्रिया के तहत कार्रवाई कर रहे थे, उसी कानूनी प्रक्रिया के तहत शिवम मिश्रा को गिरफ्तार कर कोर्ट में पेश कर दिया गया है और जो भी उनको दंड हो सकता है वो दंड दिया जाएगा।